everyone. Today we are doing business letters. I'm going to explain the business letters with the letterhead and the business letters without the letterhead. So now, according to exercise 4.1, it is the business letter without a letterhead. So we are going to start with that one. And then remember, you type your document. Make sure you take your document, you type your document in single line spacing. And then the before and after PT, they are 0 PT. And then make sure you activate the show and hide, because you are going to need to know how many enters have you done, how many spaces have you done. It is going to help you. And then change the required font and the size, and then you start the typing. So now I have already typed my document. So to make the video shortly, I'm just going to explain this one, the business letter without a letterhead, where you have, according to your model 2 of your exercise, it says that the name of the company, it should be in uppercase and bold, and then it should be centered. You enter 2 times, 1, 2, and then you have on the left hand side, you have the PO box, the telephone in full, and then the fax. As you could see here, we don't have the colons, so you don't put them. They are not needed in here. You might lose marks for that. Just do them like this one. You start with the PO box, the telephone, and then the fax. Right. So now we need to set in, these are the contact details of the company. And then now on the right hand side, we need to have the full address of the company. What do we have here on top, even on the letterhead? It is the company's details that is sending a letter. And then here on the left hand side there at the bottom, it is the receiver's address. All right, so now here on the right hand side, we need our address, the company's address. So we need to set in 9 centimeter on the ruler. Make sure your ruler is active, and make sure your ruler is in centimeters. If it's not active, you go to view, and then make sure ruler is active. If your ruler is not in centimeters, it is in inches, you go to file. We want to change the ruler to centimeters. You go to options, and then you go to advanced. You scroll down until you see display, and then show measurements in units of. If it is in inches, make sure change it to centimeter. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, according to your exercise model 2, you need to put in your the company's address on the right hand side. So now, according to your model 2, they say we need to set in 9 centimeter in your ruler. So we firstly you firstly type in these 3, and then you highlight them. In your ruler, it is in numbers, and then Remember, we need 9 centimeter. So you highlight first, and then you go to your ruler, you check your numbers, and then you just on top of number 9, you left click. You left click on top of number 9. You have now set in the tabs. Now once that is done, you click just after the last number of the PO box, and then you key in the tab. This is the tab. Then you key in your tab button. Sorry, you key in the tab button once. Key in the tab button once. Let me zoom in so that you can see it clearly. Yes. Okay, when you tap in, you're going to see that the cursor, it is right underneath number 9. And then what do you have here? So I just typed it because I'm using one hand now. All I need is just to paste, cut and paste, because I'm using one hand. You tap whatever that you have in there, and then you paste. What happened now then? Okay, I have pasted everything. So you set in the tab, and then you tap until you are done. So now remember, in the physical address of the company or whoever you are sending, the city, the name of the town or a city, it is always in uppercase and bold, as you could see here. Okay, let's go down quickly. And then after that, you enter 2 times. This is the space. You have a date in full. Where you see XX, you write the current year, 2020. The reference in full, reference, the word reference following the date, reference, and then you put the reference if it is there. And then underneath the reference, we have attention to Mr. so and so. If they've provided the name and the initials of that person we are sending the letter to, we were going to put the word attention in uppercase and bold here. But now they did not. And then now the address of the receiver. Remember, in the address, we have what? The name of the town or city, uppercase and bold, dear sir. Because in the exercise they've just specified sir, but if you don't know whether it's a sir or madam, you just use both, dear sir or madam. What is this now? Oh, uppercase, dear sir or madam, like this. Invitation to open a car. This is the subject. The subject, it is always in uppercase and bold. Remember, after dear sir or madam, you leave a space. The subject, uppercase and bold, and then after the subject, you leave a space as well. And then according to your manuscript signs, we are supposed to do the numbering. You all know the rules of the numbering now. The first level heading, it is it has a dot. But now in this case of the business letters, they've, in this 4.1, they've highlighted all the numbers, number 1 until number 4, and then they say bold in uppercase. That is why you could see that all my numbers, the first level headings, and then they're uppercase and bold, and then all these enters, I just followed the manuscript signs that are there in your exercise. Now let's go quickly down. All right, here now downwards. After your last sentence, you enter 2 times. You write in yours faithfully or yours sincerely. You enter the minimum of 4 times to the maximum of 6 times. And then you write in the person who is sending the letter, the name, the initials and surname in uppercase and bold, and then the designation of this person, the occupation. whether this person is a manager, the CEO, or whatever. Just underneath the initials and surname, you write in the designation of the person. All this in uppercase and bold. You enter 2 times. In uppercase, you key in the initials with the first letter of the surname of the sender, which is the manager. The J, G, M is the surname of this person. You put them together. And then / the initials and the first alphabet of the surname of the typist. So in this case, you are the typist. So all your initials and the first alphabet of your surname, it is in lowercase. So this is just to indicate the signature of the sender and the typist. Okay, I hope this has helped you. Okay, quickly, I've combined the video for the one with the letterhead and the one without. So now this is 4.3. In 4.3, I have typed everything to make to save the time of the video. It is just to explain only just the letterhead. You count in the letterhead. You count. For example, here in your exercise 4.3, you check how many columns do you have. According to what I see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. How many rows do you have? You have 1, 2, 3 rows. So now you count in the table. So you take that letterhead that you see in your exercise, you take it as the table. Okay, so now once you've done that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Okay, all right. So now what you're going to do now is just to merge whatever you have in there. I've just merged this, all 3 columns, and then you go to layout, and then here merge cells. You merge the cells. You read the instructions. They say it should be in font 14. Font 14, and then it should be bold, and then you bold it. And then according to your exercise as well, the word society, it is underneath, and then you just enter that. And then now here the address of the company that is sending the letter, it is underneath the word society. We go to layout. You highlight all the columns that you want to merge, and then you go to merge cells, and then it is just underneath. And then I see that number 3 is just, and then you just need to move it. I'm just gonna use the spaces to save the time. I'm just gonna use the spaces to save the time. Okay, and then here I see these ones, they are just lying there and there. I'm not going to do anything about this because obviously we are going to remove the borders inside this table. And then here as well, you just match because you want one thing where you are going to insert the picture. I've seen here in my computer that I'm not sure whether it's because I'm working at home now, I don't have any pictures on the local disk C. So I'm just gonna use any picture that I have just to show you a bit. I'm just gonna minimize this picture and make it small. I'm just gonna make it small. Okay, this is the picture that I have now. I just used any, you can use any picture. Okay, so now I need to remove the borders inside. You see here on top of your corner, the top corner of your left, you just click there. Once you see the star, just move your cursor on top of this small star of the corner. How are you going to see the star? Because when you click outside, you can't see. When you click outside, you can't see any star. You just need to click anywhere inside, and then you click there. When you click there, you click on that top corner, the star, you highlight the whole table, and then you go there, the borders, and then you just go to inside border. Oh yeah, I've done mine. Let's just say no borders, because I've just created the first one. And then we go to the other way, and then we go again there, and then we just go there and draw our borders and shading, and then we go with a down arrow, and then you just make sure you select the outside, and then you say okay. So there you have it. You can change the PT as well. Let's go and change the PT. If you want them big, you can change the PT as well, then make it 1 or 2. I'm gonna make 2 PT so that they are more visible, and then make sure you go back again. You click to select. All right, this is where you have it, our letterhead. Okay, all right, now again it's followed by the date, the attention if you have, and then the address of the receiver, DSA or madam, the subject going down, and then you do the numbering correctly. First level heading, it has a dot. You go down, you end the very same way as the one without the letterhead. Yours faithfully, minimum of 4 to the maximum of 6. Initials and surname of the sender, the designation of the person, initials and surname of the sender in uppercase, and then the typist in lowercase. Thank you.